In this example, we're going to look at an input that involves a string of consecutive characters that are going to include different types of data, like integer, character, float, and so on. As always, we have our code showing up here in Visual Studio. Here's the name. I'm calling this one CN Cout Mixed Prod Code C++. So let's remove the Solution Explorer so we can see the code. And we have the usual introductory stuff up at the top and a number of variables that I've declared here. So I'm assuming we have something like a product code. And the format for this code looks like this. So we have 4 characters for the year, a dot, a couple of characters for the month, another dot, and then some digits over to the right, DD, PLX, DC. And I've declared variables for all those things. So we have the unsigned integer for the year, the month, the day. The product ID is going to be a character. We have unsigned integer for the factory location. And then we have some characters for a quality flag, inspector, package, type, and for dot. So that's what those things tentatively mean. I just made up this example. We're going to output to the screen some information, product code, and we'll ask you to type this in and give you the format in which you should type it in. Now again, to illustrate how easy it is to input information with C++, if you do a CN, then we can just list all of these things in order, and we don't have to worry about the types here in the CN statement itself. Alright, so we just need to list these things in the order that we want the year. And then we want to actually take care of that dot. You know, we're reading stuff in without any spaces in between, so we have to handle each and every character that shows up here. Okay, so we want the year, and then we're just going to read in the dot, which I can't type. Okay, dot. And then we're going to read in the month. We'll read in another dot after that. Okay, and to show you, you can go to multiple lines then with one CN statement, and I'll illustrate that here. Then we want to input the year, the month, and we want to input the variable for day, and we'll just continue to that. Now, after we've done that, we've got the 2 dots taken care of. So now we have these special character codes that we have to deal with. Okay, so we have the day, and the next thing is the product ID. Product underscore ID. Then we follow that up by the factory location, factory underscore LOC. Then we have a quality flag. And then we have an inspector designation. And finally, a package type. So package underscore type, which I'll just double click to add that in. Again, that line got pretty long, so let me come back over here and I'll just move that down. And at the end, we do have to put a semicolon. So now we have a CIN statement that covers 3 lines, and it inputs all of these data items. Since that's how simple it is. Once again, it's very nice to be able to do that. Now we just want to echo this stuff back out. So the main point of this was to show you that you could enter this, and how do you handle something like that that doesn't have any spaces between the input values. Alright, so we're going to do a cout, and let's just put some information out here. And let's go say the product code contains the following information. Okay, so we'll just put that message to the screen, inline, and then we'll just print out this stuff. Alright, so how do we want to format it? Let's do a table, sort of. Well, not really a table. We'll do a cout, but we can put the date all on one line. That's one thing we can do. So let's do the date. So it's a double quote, capital date, colon, and a double quote. And we'll print out the month. And then let's follow that using our set width this time to 3. And we'll output the day, because that's how we're accustomed to seeing the dates here in the United States. And by using the set width of 3, and I know that day only has 1 or 2 characters, then that'll be right justified in an output field of 3. So we'll have some space between month and day. I don't have to. I could put a double quote in the space there, but I'm doing it differently. Okay, then we'll use set width again, and I want to output the year. So to have a space between the year and the day, I'll make a field width of 5, and we'll output the year next. Okay, that's on one line, so let's do an end line on that one. Okay, then let's come back and we'll do the other step. We'll see out, and I want things to be left justified, so let's make a left to left justify everything else. And let's do a set width for these things to be 15 on this one. And I just want to print out the identifiers for all these things. So double quote, the first one is product ID, and colon and a double quote. And I want to do a set width to 2. All these other things are only going to be a single character. So I'll do a set width to 2 to give me a space and then the value of whatever that character is. And this will be the product ID. Product underscore ID, that's the variable name. And an end line. Now, a lot of these are going to be similar, so what I want to do is to copy and paste to save a little bit of typing. I'm going to copy that line, and I'll paste it in here. So I don't want to print out the product ID twice. So the next thing is going to be our location code. Location code is the identifier for what's next. Set width of 2, and then this will be our that's going to be, the location code is actually the factory loc is the variable for that. Okay, I'll paste in the next line. Because these are consistent, I want the width to be 15 there, I want it to be 2 over here. So I'm just changing these 2 fields. Okay, after location code, the next thing we have is quality flag. QA quality flag. Typing's terrible. Quality flag, set width of 2, and then this is just going to be called the quality flag. Okay, take advantage of the IntelliSense on that one. Okay, let's paste in another line. Get a little space in between. So after the quality flag, the next thing we're going to have is the inspector code. It's inspector, and that's just called inspector. Okay, and then the last one we have is going to be the package type. Okay, so I'll paste that in. So the width will be 15 for all of these strings. So this is not product ID, it'll be package type. And the variable that we're printing out is going to be called package type as well. And I'll double click to get that in there. Okay, now all that is done, so we can now compile and run this program. Our bill succeeded. Now let's run our program. And we do have to type in the information this time, so we have to be very careful about the way we type it. And the format is given to us there. Alright, so let's make up something for this product code. Okay, let's put in the year. Okay, let's do 2016 and a dot. And let's put in a month. So let's suppose today the month is going to be 6 for June. Okay, dot. And then the day. DD is going to be the day. So let's say it's the 15th of June of 2016. The next thing is going to be a single character, okay, for P. So P is going to be, let's scroll up a little bit so we can see the ID on these things. Alright, so P is just going to be a product ID, and notice it's going to be a type character. Okay, so the product ID, let's make that, let's just make it an R, whatever that ID is going to be. The factory location, though, is an unsigned integer. Okay, so that's going to be a number, single number. So after we put in R, let's put in 8. It's going to be our factory location, and the remaining 4 things are just going to be characters. So the quality flag, let's just call that a Q, and for the inspector, let's just make that an I. And then for the package type, let's see if I get everything right here. So today the product code and the factory location is an 8. The quality flag is Q, and then the inspector is a D, and so the last thing we need is our package type, and let's just call that a W. Alright, so if that's the input for our product code, we hit enter, and then we see all of that information printed out. I guess I can, let's make this smaller, and we can compare it to the output. So we see that the output, the product code contains the following information shows up. The date is all on a single line, so 6/15/2016. And then we have the other information down here. So we have a field width of 15. Everything is left justified. So we have these strings in a field width of 15. And then the other information, which is only a single character, all shows up in a field width of 2. Okay, so there you see it. And since everything is left justified, then the R, the 8, the Q, the I, and the W, those are left justified as well. So the space for the field width of 2 is actually showing up a little bit on the right of it right there. Now let's make that a little bit different. Let's, instead of left justifying everything, let's keep these other things, the product code, location, and so on. Let's keep those right justified. So let's go back down and see how we can do that. Now, if we want to right justify these items, the product, the factory, the quality flag, and those things, then we would need to put right justify here. But since right and left stay in effect, once we come back over to print out these items again, we'd want those to be left justified. So we need to alternate the left and the right justification in here. Alright, so left now is going to take care of the product code, but then, for these strings over here. Then we'll set the width of 2. But at this point, I want to insert right and the insertion operator, because I want these things to be right justified. Now, that being the case, let's copy the insertion operator and the word right, and let's insert it right after the set width of 2 in all of these lines. Okay, so I'm doing this, I'm pasting after each one. Okay, so now we have right justified prior to each one of the data items. Now, similarly, once we have set something to the right, we have to reset the justification to left in order to print out each one of these. Well, okay, that means then that after the first one, then I need to do a left right here. So I need to do insertion operator, and let's put it after the set width like I did before. Okay, so let's do a left right there, which will make this thing left justified. Alright, now I will copy and paste this for all these others. And we'll be alternating between left justified and right justified for each of these data items. Alright, so now let's build the program and run it and see what we get. The compile succeeded, and now I'm running the program, and I've already typed in the information. So 2016, 6/15, and the other single-digit codes, for the product ID, factory location, quality flag, inspector, and package type. So that's all there. So I'll hit enter, and we'll see the output. So this time you can see that we have the date as before, we have the product ID, and if you look carefully, especially the location code, you'll see there's a space now that's on the left right before the 8. So we are right justifying the items, the single character items in the second column, and everything in the first column, which are these character strings, are all left justified in a field width of 15. So this just gives you some additional formatting options and some things that you can do with the manipulators. And that concludes this video.